Today I'm going to share with you the 4 foods that I must have in my kitchen every week. These are non-negotiable. I have to have them. I make them every week, and this is how I can remain consistent. And I'll also be sharing with you a brand new recipe, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chew on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN. I follow a whole food plant-based way of eating with a focus on protein. I am 68 years old, I am postmenopausal, and I am on a mission to stay strong and healthy for many years to come. If that's something that you're into, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video, which is every week. Be sure and check out the description box below for all the resources I offer. You can also find discount codes down there and also the full recipe. So let's jump right in and let's talk about the 4 things that I need to have in my kitchen every week, non-negotiable. And these are in no particular order. So the first one I'm going to mention are my high protein bagels. I make a double batch every week without fail. I eat them every morning and I must have them. They are so delicious, so satisfying. So number 1 is the bagels. Number 2 is my Greek yogurt that I make in my Instant Pot. Have to have it. I use it on my bagel in the morning. I toast my bagel and then put some of my yogurt on there. I use it in salad dressings. I use it in place of mayo. I use it in my dessert that I have every night. It's so versatile and it's so freaking delicious and so easy to make. And I'll leave a link to that recipe video down below. It's 2 ingredients, that's it. It's amazing. And number 3 is tofu, of course. And I like the extra firm. It's higher in protein. I usually make 2 to 3 blocks every week. I cube it up, I season it, I stick it in my oven or my air fryer, and then I have it ready to go. So that is definitely a non-negotiable. Then last but not least, my protein powder, Earth Chimp. Earth Chimp is my protein powder of choice, and it is so delicious. It dissolves instantly. It's not gritty. It's got probiotics. It's organic, and they do so much for the environment. So I love Earth Chimp. I'm also an ambassador for them. I won't use any other protein powder because I found this one and it's the best. And I do have a discount code for 10% off, and if you spend over $45, you get free shipping. So I hope you give it a try. And I will have links down below to my tofu recipe, my yogurt, and my bagel recipe as well, so you can check those out. All right, let's start on this brand new recipe. I came up with this the other day, and oh my gosh, it's so good. So let's get into it. I will be sharing with you a dairy-free, healthy Mexican street corn. I don't know if you've ever seen those big ears of corn that have mayo and Parmesan cheese, and they're just not what I'm going to eat. Okay, I'm dairy-free, I'm vegan, of course I'm not going to eat that. But this is really interesting. I cut the kernels off the cob and add some ingredients that I'm going to show you, and then it's great as a dip, it's great as a side dish, and I've just gotten rave reviews. So let me take you in for a closer look. So I have 3 ears of corn here. I try to get the non-GMO. Most corn is genetically modified, so I like to go to the farmer's market. I did find this at my local grocer, so I'm going to use this today. So I have a bowl, and then I put another bowl inside of it, and then it's best to use a serrated knife, and then you're just going to cut the kernels, and this way it just kind of falls to the side. I've tried it on a cutting board and they just go everywhere, so this just kind of makes it a little bit easier. So you just want to get all this yummy corn off. And then I'm just going to continue getting all the corn off the cob here, and then I will show you the next step. All right, so I got the corn all off the cob, and then I'm just going to take my little dish out. And then now we're going to take this over to the stove, because they kind of roast the corn when it's on the cob, so we want to have that same effect. So we're going to char this a little bit. So I'm going to take you over to the stove and we're going to do that. It takes about 5-6 minutes. So I've got some water in this pan. I had a cast iron pan, but I cannot find it, so I'm just using this one. A cast iron pan would probably work better. And then I've got a little bit of water in there, and then I'm just going to throw my corn in, and you want it like medium-high heat because you want to get that char. So what I like to do is just kind of get it in a layer here, and then just let it go for a minute or two and then stir it. If you need to add a little bit more water, then do so, because you don't really want it to stick, but you want it to get some color. So we're just going to let this go for about 5-6 minutes. Now you can see we're getting some good color on here, and what I like to do at the end, well, I did it a couple times, just add a little bit of water and kind of deglaze. You can turn the heat off at this point, and just kind of, that's all flavor in there, so we want all that in the corn. All right, I'm gonna let this cool a little bit. You don't have to let it cool completely, but it's like screaming hot right now. So I'm just gonna set this aside and I'm gonna show you the rest of the ingredients. So while the corn is cooling, I wanted to elaborate a little bit on my 4 non-negotiables. And they kind of all go together because I do my bagel, I've got my yogurt, and we're gonna be using my yogurt in this recipe today. And then also with the protein powder, I use that in my yogurt. I make a really delicious dessert with the yogurt, protein powder, throw in a few chocolate chips. It's very decadent, it's just high protein. And these are just some of the tricks I use to make sure that I'm hitting my protein goals and that I am eating foods that keep me full and satisfied. And you just have to figure out what your non-negotiables are and just stick with that plan. Yeah, sometimes I don't feel like making bagels, but I know if I don't, then that's just gonna mess up my whole week. Same with the yogurt. It's like, nope, I've got to do it. And it really doesn't take that much time at all. Especially the yogurt, you just put it in your Instant Pot, set it for 12 hours, you drain it for a couple days. I mean, it's not a lot of effort. And same with the bagels. I've made it so many times that it's just like second nature. I can just whip it together and get them in the oven, they cool, and then I'm good to go for the week. And same with the tofu. So just find things that are easy for you, that are convenient, that you know you're gonna do. Because if it's too much work and it's overwhelming, you're not gonna stick with it, and then that defeats the whole purpose of doing these things to keep you consistent. So this is just what I do, and I'm sharing that with you, but you maybe have some different things that you like to do. All right, let's get back to the Mexican street corn. So before I put this all together, I just want to show you the ingredients, okay? So I've got some cilantro, I've got my yogurt, which is going to be our mayonnaise substitute, but look at how thick, it's so good. I've got some seasoning, I have smoked paprika, chili powder, garlic salt, onion powder. If you're salt-free, then just use garlic powder. I've got some red onion, a jalapeno, some lime zest, and then I'm going to use the juice from the lime. And then for my Parmesan substitute, I'm using this Panacheeza, and it's basically, I don't know if you can see that, it's basically just cashews and nutritional yeast, a little salt, and it's really delicious, and we're only going to use a couple tablespoons in the whole recipe. Same with the yogurt. But this is just a great way to elevate this dish. So let me grab the corn, and then we'll just start dumping everything in, and I'll show you how easy it comes together. All right, so we've got our corn. It's still a little bit warm, and the reason why we do the charring is it makes the corn so much sweeter, and it just gives it such a good smoky flavor. So you just start dumping things in, and if you want to alter this in any way, if you like it spicier, less spicy, this is totally customizable, so just remember that. All right, so we'll throw in the red onion, and I've got jalapeno, and all these you want to chop very, very finely because this is a raw dish, and you don't want somebody biting into a big piece of jalapeno, and that's what they like. And then we've got our spices, and then the the lime juice. I put the zest in already. This is great if you want to bring it to a barbecue. I just took it to my book club and I think everyone liked it. At least they said they did. My husband loves it. And then I've got my yogurt. And let's do our Panacheeza. I don't get sponsored by them. I don't make any money off of them. I will give you a link to Amazon. I am an Amazon affiliate, so I'll make like 3 cents. But you could get it on their direct website, is fine. And then we have 2 tablespoons of the Panacheeza, the cilantro, and then you just give it a good mix and keep mixing. If you think you need to add more of the yogurt, then do so. Like I said, this is totally customizable and you just make it your own. But super easy. I think it's going to be a great thing for the summer. You know, I'm hoping for summer here. We're getting close. Keep this in mind for that. And you can add more chili powder if you want. I like mine more on the mild side. You might not like as much onion as I do. And there we go. So let's put it in a dish and I will give it a taste, even though I know it's good. Look at that final product. So pretty. One thing I did want to mention, you don't want to overcook the corn. You want it to still have that bite. And this definitely will please a crowd for sure. When I took this to book club, I got some corn chips, you know, those ones that are like scoopy ones, and it's perfect vehicle for these. But like I said, I use this as a side dish because I'm trying not to eat chips and things like that. So this is great as a side dish. You can put it in tacos, burritos, anything like that. All right, let's give it a taste. It's so good. It's sweet, it's smoky, it's savory, and like I said, you can make the heat whatever you want. So I hope you like this recipe. I hope you learned something from this video. That's always my goal, is to impart knowledge on you, either about foods or recipe or your health. So I hope you're getting that from my videos. And if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with street corn. And that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. When you watch my videos all the way to the end, it lets the algorithm know that you like this type of video, and it will push my video out to more people. So that way I can share my recipes with more people. And when you watch to the end, it also lets me know that this is the type of content you want to see from me. And that's really important. I want to be making content that you're enjoying, that you're finding valuable. Be sure to check out the description box for the full recipe and all the links to the bagels, the yogurt, and what else did I say? The tofu. Those will all be down below, along with all the resources I offer, my cookbook, my online course, Facebook group, all that's in there. Now remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet. And what you put on your plate determines your fate. Until next time, thank you.